Dave Doeren is the head coach at NC State. Sir, how many shopping days do you need to get ready for the holiday?
0. I'm ready.
Oh, really? I'm so impressed. Everybody says I'm not ready. When did you start?
Oh, man, I don't know. Sometimes you find things you want to give people, sometimes you don't. And it's just one of those years, But I'm looking forward to the family time for sure.
Yeah, how do you your game is after the holiday. The Military Bowl is the 28th. So how do you work the holiday and making sure that the guys get a chance to spend quality time with their loved ones? You as well. You need that time as well. I know you're a family guy. How do you balance all this?
Yeah, it's a great question. I try to look at the calendar, figure out the number of days we need to get in, how many of them are developmental, how many of them are game specific, and then how much time can we give them where it's not too much time, because you want to keep the skills and the game plan somewhat ready. And then when can you get to the bowl game to polish it back up and obviously enjoy the activities the bowl games offer. So it is a balancing act, and we've changed a little bit this year from other years. Just felt like there were some things that, we've lost some close bowl games here recently. Really wanted to find a way to get over the top, and had a lot of research in the off season, just how we can do things a little differently and hopefully finish with a win.
There's a lot of things I want to get to. First of all, Annapolis is such a cool city, and having spent for me about 10 years in the Baltimore, Washington area right out of school, I mean, I'm very familiar with just how beautiful Annapolis is, how historic Annapolis is. When you guys are up there, how much of the city will you guys take in?
Well, we're staying in D.C., and so we're not in Annapolis. We play there, obviously. The hotel is in D.C., so, we will get a lot of D.C. in. There's several tours that our guys are going to get to be a part of and see the nation's capital. So we're excited about that.
Yeah.
Really won't see Annapolis until game day. And obviously my athletic director has a lot of history at West Point and that rivalry, so he's given me a lot of intel about what we're going to see. But a couple of my coaches, I know my D-line coach, Charlie Wiles, has played in this game twice and has been there, so he's given us some as well. But looking forward to it. I've never been there. Been to West Point, have not been to Annapolis, so personally looking forward to playing there on game day.
It is an absolutely gorgeous seaside city. You'll love it. The development of C.J. Bailey. I know the plan was not to need C.J. Bailey this year, and then because of the injuries to Grayson McCall and the ultimate retirement from the game, what have you seen from C.J.? Certainly a dynamic player with an incredible future ahead of him. What have you seen from him?
Yeah, hungry to learn, has a great growth mindset, wants to improve, loves the game, loves studying the game, has a lot of spirit. He's got a charismatic, kind of magnetic personality that you like being around. I mean, I really enjoy coaching him. And he takes ownership. Like when he makes mistakes, he doesn't point fingers, he doesn't blame others. There's no excuses. He does all those things naturally, and so he has all the intangibles, and he has the height, and he has the athletic ability. So, there's a ton of upside still, but he's improved immensely over the year. And even when he has made mistakes, he's come back and gotten better from them. So we're really excited and look forward to CJ being here.
When you recruit somebody like anybody, but, specifically the position of quarterback, do you know that there's a love of the game and there's he's a tape junkie or stuff like that where he, because not everybody is. I mean, sometimes they're just great athletes who play the game, right? So do you know this?
Right, yeah. I mean, that's something we try to do. I mean, I tell you, the recruiting calendar has made this harder and harder. Yeah. Getting to know these guys the way that we really want to know them. But, our coaches do a really good job of asking a lot of questions when we do get to go out on the road, trying to get the intel that matters to our program. Everybody's programs are different in how they evaluate, but we want to see it. Like, I think in-person live evals are critical in the evaluation stage. Being there for meetings if you can, if they're having player meetings with their coaches at the high school level, being able to sit in those, seeing how he handles coaching, if you can go to a game and see how he handles his teammates, how he comes back from a tough series or an interception, all those things. So the more you can see, the better. And we definitely try to be very diligent in that, because the last thing I want is a guy at that position that doesn't love the stuff behind the scenes.
Dave Doeren is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. You talked about the calendar, and I was going to get to that, so let's do it here. The portal opens up before bowl season. Now, I don't think it's necessarily impacted you that much, a little bit, but certainly like Duke down the road is out of quarterbacks. I don't know who's going to play quarterback for them in the Gator Bowl. How does this get fixed, where the portal doesn't open until after everything is done?
Yeah, I mean, I think what's happening right now is tragic, and it's broken. It's impacting my team a lot. It's impacting everyone's team. It's not necessarily always star players that you're missing.
True.
But, I mean, if you got 20 guys that leave your team, even walk-ons are leaving teams because they want to get on the field somewhere, it impacts practice, and your scout teams. It impacts your depth charts on special teams. So all of it, I mean, I think last year when we played Kansas State, between the two teams, there was 45 guys that didn't play, and
right.
So there's a huge impact. And how do you fix it? I think you start the season earlier. You finish the season earlier before the second semester begins, including bowl games. Have the national championship game be on January 1st so that it is a one-semester sport. And you put the portal window after the bowl games. That's my opinion. I don't know another way, because right now it's designed for people not to finish. And the finish matters. Like, winning bowl games matters. Winning playoff games matters. But it's designed in a terrible way for these guys, because if they want to transfer and be somewhere for their second semester, which I would understand why, it's before they play all these championship games, But, yeah, I mean, these kids are here in the summertime. We could start our season a month earlier and be done a month earlier, and the guys would have a chance at the end of the season. And same with coaches. Don't let a coach leave until seasons are over. It's like the NFL does. Make people finish what they start.
How hard is it to retain your roster? Because you got to recruit your own roster these days now.
Yeah, it's challenging. Yeah, I mean, for everybody, your first week after the season is exit interviews with your players and finding out where they stand and whether they're going to come back. And yeah, it's different, and it's year to year on how hard that may be, and it's probably program to program. We've had a great deal of success and retention, and sometimes you'll lose a guy here and there, but for the most part, we've had a lot of success here because of the success of our program and stability of it. But I think it's hard for all coaches, and what makes it harder is there's a lot of illegal stuff going on the outside, where schools are using agents to contact players or families to try to lure them away. And to me, it's sad that that's happening in college football.
Dave Doeren is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. I do want to ask you about two coaches that, one just left and the other's coming in. Real quick, your thoughts on maybe why, as much as the fact that Dave Clawson announced his resignation yesterday. Dave has been a great coach in this league for more than a decade. Contemporaries, you guys basically got here about the same time. I think you got here maybe a shade earlier. But I mean, he's had a great run here. And he's talked about the changing landscape. Your thoughts on Dave Clawson stepping down?
Yeah, well, I have a lot of respect for Dave. We coached against each other in the MAC prior to being here. And I got here 1 year ahead of him, and we've had a lot of good games against each other. I texted him yesterday, congratulations, and that I was going to miss competing against him because I really respect him. I think it's not my place to say why he did what he did. That's his place.
Right.
Obviously you saw what Tony Bennett said at Virginia. I'm sure there's some carryover in that, and I look forward to reading his comments whenever they come out if they haven't already.
And the other guy, and you've got you've had a good relationship. I think there's been a respect that Bill Belichick has shown you and your program over the years, and now you're going to compete against him. What's that going to be like? Oh,
I mean, look, I have great respect for all the guys I compete against, and obviously Coach Belichick was the gold standard of the NFL, and he's gracious enough to allow me to come up and visit one of their OTAs, and actually Kobe Bryant was there that day and spoke to their team, and I got to learn a lot watching him do what he does. He's one of the best ever to coach football, and I'm excited to compete against him. You know, really excited, and no different than when Coach Brown came in. I was excited to compete against Coach Brown. I mean, he's a Hall of Fame coach. To me, it motivates me, and I told Coach Brown that. He made me a better coach because I knew I had to do what I had to do to win against him. That's what I owe this university, and same thing when you coach against Dabo. Like, you're going to go against a really, really good football coach, a Hall of Fame coach one day, and you got to step up your game, and it's no different now. I'm excited to compete against Coach Belichick and have nothing but respect for him.
All right, two more things, and then we will let you go. The first is, while you weren't a part of it this year, what do you think ultimately, has this been a good year one of the college football playoff?
I know that's going to be an exciting month. I'm really excited to see the on-campus playoff games and the atmospheres of them. I think it's going to be awesome. As far as the selections and all those things, to be honest, I haven't even paid attention to some of that stuff. I've been trying to worry about my own program, but I think it's going to be great to see these games on campuses. I'm being a former FCS coach. When I was at Montana, we had home field advantage, and we were in a lot of playoff games there. It was fun. I mean, you talk about live atmospheres, man. It's going to be a lot of fun to see these games.
I had totally forgotten that you were at Montana. You see the Final Four of the FCS? It's South Dakota State, South Dakota, North Dakota State, and Montana State. What does the Big Sky know that nobody else does?
It's a good football league, man. I mean, really good. When I was there, we won the Big Sky twice, and that was before the Dakotas were in it. You know, at that time, it was usually us or Eastern Washington that were kind of in the tops of the league. But it's a really good league. There's good coaches. They do a great job, you know, fan base wise, selling out games and quality football, and I really enjoyed my 2 years at the University of Montana.
All right, final thing. Tony Gibson, now no longer with you. How big? I mean, it's a big loss. I mean, your defenses have been great. I mean, I know this year wasn't the year that you or Tony would have wanted. It's tough to replace Peyton Wilson. I think we found that out. What are your thoughts on Tony moving on?
I'm really happy for Tony. He's earned the right to be a head coach, and it's a great opportunity for him to go back to his home state and run a program with tradition, history, and expectations. I know he's walking into a hornet's nest with what's happened there in the portal, but he'll get it right. And that's one thing he knows how to do is galvanize people and recruit and coach. So Tony will do a great job there. And obviously, anytime you lose a coach, you'll miss that coach that did a job like Tony did. But it's an opportunity for somebody now to come in and continue what we've done and make us better.
Sir, I wish you the best in the Military Bowl against East Carolina. That's interesting. If you close this season against them and you start next season against them, does it probably makes this bowl better because it is a kind of a rivalry game, no?
You know, people keep saying that. To me, a rival is a team you play every year. We play ECU every 3 years, and so some of our players, you know, it's an in-state game, so there's definitely stakes. Don't get me wrong.
Okay.
But our rival is the team we play every year that wears that ugly color, you know, and so that's how we look at rivalry. But we definitely look at this as a big in-state game.
Okay, I need to ask this. I'm sorry to keep you for one more thing, but you said, I don't know, about a month ago that you're contractually not allowed to wear blue. Are you serious?
That's right. Oh, yeah.
It's in your deal.
No, it's not in my deal. I mean, that was just an agreement. Handshake's as good as a contract, in my opinion, so... Yeah, no, they told me when I was hired, don't ever show up wearing baby blue, and I get it. I won't.
So only dark wash jeans, is that it?
I guess so, yeah. What are you going to do? You got to wear blue jeans, don't you?
Hey, thank you very much. Good luck up there. Merry Christmas to you and yours.
All right, take care. Happy holidays, and go Pack.
You got it. Dave Doeren here on the Adam Cole Show. I almost forgot to ask that.
I like the clarification. It's good to have the clarification.
It's a handshake agreement.
Right.
Because the contract is public record. We saw Bill Belichick's contract, and I read it, and there is nothing in there that says he cannot wear red.
Right, but he's a man of his word and his handshake. I like it.